In this video, I want to discuss how you deal with projects with unequal lives. Now, ideally, you'd like to compare different investment projects with the same life expectancy. Because if one project lasts for a shorter term than another project, then you want to ask yourself, what are we going to do when the shorter term project ends? We might reinvest, we might do something else, but it's not really fair to compare projects that have different life expectancies. So let's take a look at an example here. We have Project A and Project B. Project A costs $70,000 and lasts for 3 years, and Project B costs $85,000 and lasts for 6 years. Now, I've gone through the trouble of calculating net present value for both Project A and Project B at a cost of capital of 10%. And you can see that the NPV of Project A is a little over $11,000. The NPV for Project B is a little over $19,000. So if we were simply choosing right now, we would choose B over A because it has a higher NPV and is going to add greater value to the firm. But perhaps we can do better. Suppose we assume that we could replicate Project A and replicate it so it lasts for exactly the same amount of time as Project B. In this case, we'd be evaluating them both on 6-year lives. So what I've done here is I've created this table, and I'm going to assume that if we replicate Project A, it's going to have the same cost, it's going to have the same cash flows, and what we're going to do is we want to make sure that we begin the replication in year 3 so that we get cash flows in year 4, 5, and 6 that just match the 6-year life expectancy of Project B. And you can see that these first 3 cash flows, the original cost, and the cash flow in year 1 and year 2 are the same because we haven't replicated the project. In year 3, we get a $38,000 cash flow, but we have to make a $70,000 investment. So we're going to have a negative $32,000 cash flow in year 3, and then we're going to have the same cash flows we had before, $28,000, $33,000, and $38,000. And if we calculate the NPV for this at a cost of capital of 10%, we get $19,749.99, which is now higher than the $19,013 that we had for Project B. So by replicating the project, we make a more fair comparison between A and B, and we see that A is the better project. Now, when we're doing this, we don't necessarily have to have the cost structure and the cash flows exactly the same. We might assume, for example, that the costs increase in year 3, that no longer does it cost $70,000, perhaps it costs $72,000. And we can again see how this impacts our results. In this case, I'm going to assume the cash flows are the same, but the cost is more. And when I increase the cost to $72,000, my NPV falls to $18,247, and if you recall, Project B had an NPV over $19,000, so now B would be the better project. We might also make assumptions that these cash flows change as well, and those would all be based on some sort of economic forecast. But replication is certainly one way we can deal with the problem of having different projects with different lives.